This is the eastern coast of the very thin and long island east of Sweden. It's called Öland, and on the other side of the sea is Lithuania, Latvia, and the Russian Kaliningrad. Öland is a very open country. There is not very much of forests on it. It's on this southeastern part where this movie is done. It's a bit deserted. There isn't very much people living there. Anyway, I've gone there to try the Mercedes G500. A strange experience. It's a car normally built for military use. It's a very strong built car. It's built in a very classic mode, although Mercedes has modernized it a bit with a individual front suspension. It still has a live rear axle, and it has coil springs all around. In fact, it's very much like Nissan Navara, the pickup truck, with coil springs and individual front suspension and live rear axle. They both have coil springs, and they both have this sort of robust style with a frame in the bottom of beneath the car. It's a frame built car, and that means it's heavy. It means it's easy to change the rebuilding of it. You can build it with like a pickup. You can build it like Mercedes do, like 6-wheel drive and so on. The reason for building this car is of course military use, but Mercedes has also found buyers among hunters, among people who like the car's macho style, people living in remote places in Scandinavia, like our filmmaker Ingmar Bergman, who lived on the remote Fårö north of Gotland. This little island out there north of Gotland is pretty much like this landscape here on Öland. It's very open, and it's also got hit by snow blizzards. So when there was a big snow blizzard on this island, it was only the filmmaker Ingmar Bergman and the artist called Kai Engström who could find a way around the island. Kai had a Land Rover Defender, from the beginning a Series 3, and Ingmar Bergman had a Mercedes G-Class. The modern G-Class is a strange car. The interior looks very much like the S-Class. It's really high quality white leather in this car. There's of course different leather upholstery. It has a really nice driver's view with big screens for both instruments like rev counter and speedometer, and also for entertainment and the settings for the off-roading and for navigation. And there's a really nice sound system in it. So the interior of this car is high class. It's very much like the S-Class. The ride comfort is more like the Nissan Navara. It's not very far from the Nissan Navara ride comfort, because you have this live rear axle. I would say it's a really big difference when it comes to ride comfort if you compare the Mercedes G-Class with Land Rover Discovery and Range Rover, and I would say also if you compare it with the new Land Rover Defender. All three Land Rovers have individual suspension all around, and they've got air suspension. It means that you get much more smooth ride, and you also got the possibility to change the ground clearance. So let's say you are on snow, you can raise the car and take it back to the bottom and pack the snow. On the other hand, you've got differential lockings in both front and rear axles in the G-Class. The Mercedes still has this classic boxy body style. It's almost unstoppable, and it looks like a tank. although I would say the better off-roader of all those cars will be the new Defender, but the G-Class is, on the other hand, more sturdy built. I would say the car to rely on the most remote places in the world.